What's going on, guys? Victoria Langford, your credit solutionist, lead debt elimination strategist over at mycreditcall.com. Also, the author of the 90-Day Rapid Repair mini ebook, which is your one-stop shop for all things credit, whether you are looking to get yourself a HUD-funded apartment or conventional housing like the rest of us. Your landlord's going to check your credit, and you need to make sure that you are in tip-top shape. Well, this 90-Day Rapid Repair mini ebook is going to get you there. You're going to boost your credit score within about 100 to 250 points within 60 to 90 days, and you'll get the home or the apartment of your dreams. I am going to go ahead and link this in the comments below and throughout the chat. But enough about that. You're here to see me and the HR expert that I have on tap tonight. This girl knows her stuff. She's been in the industry for over 20 plus years. All right, so we'll be talking to her a little bit later, but the Section 8 debate is heating up, as many of you know, and thank you to those of you that have viewed the channel, subscribed. I have over 100,000 views in the last literally 14 days, and that is all because of you coming through, because you love objective inputs, and you love to hear the truth. All right, you've come to the right place for that. So tonight we're going to be talking about HUD and letting go of 50% of their workforce. I think you'll be surprised at who is truly behind this after you hear our commentary tonight. And also, if you are a victim of layoff and looking for some tips and strategies on what to do after, hopefully some of you HUD folks are watching, my girl mentor Shelly is going to be helping you out tonight. So without further ado, we're going to have a great conversation tonight. I'm absolutely looking forward to it. I'm going to go ahead and get the stage ready. I would drum roll if I could, but I don't have the sound effects. But I'm going to go ahead and bring on my girl, Miss Mentor Shelly.
Hello, everybody. How you guys doing tonight?
What is up? What is up? Yes. We got some hand claps, girlfriend.
Yes. Hello.
It's been a minute. All right, let's make sure everything's silent, girl. You know, I don't be knowing how to work this thing. All right, now let's come on in close, girl. It's been a minute. Yes. How you doing?
Wonderful. Been busy. Oh boy. So it's the last time we got together. There's a whole lot going on, as you know.
Yeah.
In your industry, in my industry, in the public sector, especially, and in the private sector. It's not just the public sector that's getting hit right, left, and center with all of these changes. Private sector's getting hit pretty hard too.
Yeah, a lot of stuff that we didn't really foresee coming has been happening. I mean, 2025, we're only 3 months in, but it literally feels like it's been an entire year of chaos, right? Yes. And so many things have changed. And, you know, I finally let the cat out of the bag that I am in the HUD housing industry adjacent, but I am in it. And I see a lot of what truly happens in the industry every single day. So I have some objective input. Now, the reason that I wanted to bring you on the channel, really quick, is because you have a ton of experience dealing with layoffs, which is what we're going to be talking about tonight in the HUD housing industry. So before we get started, let everybody know who you are, and I'll give you the stage here, sister. Tell everybody who you are, your expertise, and let them know, girl, why you here tonight. Go ahead.
I am Mentor Shelly, your dream career coach and HR consultant. Been in the HR industry for more than 20 years in the areas of process management, benefits administration, unfortunately, employee relations. You know how that can be, the drama of it all in HR, in the recruiting space, as well as helping people literally revitalize their careers or get their careers in the right trajectory. I am here, as you always hear me say on my channel, here to help you to become a better professional in whatever ways that we can make sure that we do that. Use all the skills you have, whether they are learned skills, innate skills, or skills you can improve upon to help you to become a better professional. I also provide HR consulting services to small and medium-sized businesses looking to get their SOPs and to help them hire their first, second, or third employee. Outside of that, I am the author of From Clueless Teenager to Consummate Professional, 7 Steps to Getting the Career and Life You Want, because our Gen Zers and younger generation coming behind all this nonsense absolutely needs guidance. And that is what that ebook provide. So you can find that at mentorshelley.com/book, along with some other resources we'll be discussing later on, especially in the areas of layoff. Back to you, Victoria.
All right, sister. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So as you guys can see, you have an HR professional here that has over 20 years of experience. You also have me, who has been in the realm of HUD housing for at least about, what's 2018. So that's about 16 years. Pretty much I'm actually going into, I guess, my 17th year. Wow. It's been a long time. I'm considered a dinosaur, even though I may not look like one. It's okay. I'm all right with that. Now, I called you on the show today because, as you know, my channel has been getting a lot of traction over this HUD housing debate debacle. My comment section, everybody has something to say, whether they sympathize with folks that are low income or, they feel like, well, they should pull themselves up by the bootstraps. Now, of course, I have a personal opinion about it, but I'm here to be objective, and I'm here to let the people know what's truly going on. It's one thing to hear from your headlines and from commentators or social media creators who do not actually have their hands in the industry. She's in HR. I'm on the HUD side. I think we are actually going to be the voices of reason in this entire debate. And whether or not it makes folks happy or up in arms, people come to us because they want to get the true information, right? And maybe change their perspective. So I'm really glad that you came in tonight. Now, as you know, there's the DOGE task force, right? Pretty much it's our guy, Elon Musk, and the HUD secretary as well is actually in on this, which I didn't really know that until I looked into it a little bit further. It is not just Elon Musk that has been tasked with this. It's actually Scott Turner. He has a hand in this as well. A lot of people don't know Scott Turner's, I would say, education in the public housing realm. So he's been getting a lot of flack for no reason. So I wanted to actually go over an article with you before we kind of dive into our conversation, and you can help some folks that maybe are going through layoff or are kind of, at risk.
Yes.
But when I called out to you for, to come and guest host with me, when I told you about the 50% cut to the workforce, did that surprise you at all? Like, what do you think about what's going on?
As of November 5th of 2024, about a week in, and I started hearing the rumbles of DOGE and what it's going to do. The initial person that was supposed to be leading DOGE with Mr. Musk stepped down. I think based on some of the backlash that happened right before that with some of the words that I think we have discussed in previous videos. And just based on how things were shaping up, you knew something was coming, and I wasn't sure how people were going to respond. And then you hear from ridiculous to downright heartless people online laughing, making fun of, and literally ridiculing people for losing their livelihood. Some under the guise of, well, you voted for him. Whether people voted for him or not is of no consequence. People losing their job is something that we as humans should all be concerned about, because if that person loses their livelihood, that also means that's another person out of a job. I do my ever dear best to help those folks. That's why I'm in the business that I'm in, to help people become a better professional, especially during these kind of transitioning times. But what I was not prepared for was people's, dare I say, heartless reaction to people losing their livelihoods. Now, what's happened in the last, not even to say a month, the astronomical amount. I did a video about this a couple weeks ago. Over 80,000 people in the public sector alone has lost jobs. And from what I understand, depending on how those terminations or the layoffs were done, I'm also going to lean on the side of a lot of those terminations were illegal. But this administration doesn't seem to have that as a concern based on the agenda, the very thick and very potent agenda that they have going. They feel like they're just running through their list of what DOGE has to do, and they have to do it within the first 100 days. That's the action and the approach that I see based on what happens and then the reaction to it and what is going to happen now. I just saw that some law that's been in place for 50 plus years has now been overturned. So segregation is now a thing. And a lot of the laws that were estimated to be reversed in Project 2025, they're feverishly working to truly reverse a lot of those laws. I know I said a lot in a little bit, but that's just how these changes have been rolling in like a tide. By the time you think you're coming up for air, there's something else. And you're not sure, okay, is this really going to affect me in the long run? Is it not? Do I just not pay attention to it? Will it affect me in the long run? Will it affect me in the short term? Is this something that we all need to be concerned about? When humans are going through this many humans, these many people in one particular country going through this much, it is going to have devastating effects on our economy. Mm-hmm. So let's be clear. It may not be you right now, but it may be you next week. So be careful, people. How you react to people's misfortune. It may come at your doorstep. So be very careful how you rejoice over people's misfortune. Please don't. I would encourage anyone, please don't ever react in that way. Let's still be human. Let's be compassionate humans.
Gotcha.
There.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I will tell you, my comment section is definitely not the place to be if that's what you're looking for. However, what I think is, Shelly is definitely onto something, because really when you think about what HUD entails, it is essentially a place that, or an organization or a government entity that is supposed to provide safe, adequate, clean, affordable housing. Affordable being the operative word. Now, I am of the belief that everybody deserves that, everybody deserves a fair shake at that, right? Even criminals, you guys, get two hots in a cot, as they say, right? Even the lowest of the low get food and shelter and a clean bed to lay on every single night. So even your government believes that those people have that right. Now, what I'm questioning, though, is if our government has that same feeling for the very people that provide the housing or provide the policies and things and the, the structure of that affordable housing in the first place. So let's actually jump into the article. And you guys, we do see your comments and your questions, but feel free to, chat. As always, be cool, you guys. But we're going to go through this article and then we're going to jump in the comments, okay? And then we are going to have ads tonight, guys, as well, because we're monetized over here. So come on back once you finish your ads, all right? But Shell, I wanted to talk to you about this article here. So Can you see it on the screen there?
Yes.
All right, just want to make sure it's big enough, because we're going to talk about these layoffs, because at first everybody kind of thought, like you said, it was maybe, I don't know, Tesla, SpaceX, Google, Facebook, like the big tech companies were, having to deal with these layoffs. But once it kind of stretches its arms into the government entities, right? That's where we have to start to be concerned, because that will affect us as citizens as well as people that we know. So as y'all know, I work not for HUD, but I'm HUD adjacent. So I work with their policies, procedures. I'm essentially a liaison between property owners and the HUD officials. So this is definitely going to affect credit solutionists. Thank God I got a few hustles going on. Now, it says here by CRE Daily, HUD to cut 50% of the workforce, and they launched a budget task force. So it basically says here that HUD plans to cut half of its workforce in an effort of downsizing. Now, of course, downsizing is always to save money. We are in a very, very volatile economy, and all of us should be looking to conserve, save, and literally figure out what our plan is going to be for the next 5 to 10 years. HUD is no different. Now, it says here, it looks like the newly formed Department of Government Efficiency, which is DOGE, is getting its way after all. The U.S. Department of... Are you there? Did you say something, Shell?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. I thought you said something. The U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development announced plans to cut half of its workforce. Girl, this article has said the same thing about 3 times. Newly confirmed HUD Secretary Scott Turner has also launched a task force to review more potential workforce and budget reductions, slashing HUD in half. Now, according to Antonio Gaines, who's the president of HUD's employee union, the planned cuts will affect employees working in the civil rights enforcement, housing market analysis, and disaster relief funding. Now, I'm going to come back to that housing market analysis part because I do have some input about why I think that's happening. These reductions come amid a federal government-wide push to shrink the workforce, spearheaded by Donald Trump and Elon Musk, who leads the newly formed DOGE. Notably, the cuts will affect employees at the Federal Housing Administration, FHA, which provides mortgage insurance for home loans. So it says it won't affect them. So I saw a lot of YouTubers actually saying that it will. It actually won't. So if you see that on a video, it's a lie. Okay. You heard it here first. As of 2023, HUD had approximately 8.9 thousand full-time employees, meaning layoffs would eliminate around 45,000 jobs. So 4.4 thousand. Neither HUD nor its union immediately responded to requests for comments. Now I want to read this because this is a pretty short article. So I'll finish out and then we'll talk about it. So let's see here. Okay. So beyond the initial workforce reduction, newly confirmed HUD Secretary Scott Turner has launched a Department of Government Efficiency task force, that's literally DOGE again, to review spending and streamline operations. The DOGE task force, composed of HUD employees, that's important, you guys, HUD employees are in on this, okay? They will assess how to maximize the agency's budget and ensure resources are used effectively. HUD will be detailed and deliberate about every dollar spent to serve rural, tribal, and urban communities, Turner said in a statement. Turner credited President Trump's leadership for initiating these changes and stated that HUD has already identified over $260 million in savings, with additional reductions expected. So here it says the HUD layoffs align with a broader federal reduction strategy. On Tuesday, Trump signed an executive order directing all agencies to work with DOGE to cut staff and limit hiring to essential positions. Wow, he's literally going all through HUD. That's insane. Additionally, the deferred resignation program, which offered voluntary buyouts to federal employees, has now closed. Approximately 75,000 employees, or 3.3% of the federal workforce, accepted the offer. Smart, smart, smart. What's next? With the task force in place, more cuts at HUD may be on the horizon as the agency evaluates cost-saving measures. The impact of these reductions on HUD's ability to enforce housing laws, support disaster recovery, and provide housing market data remains uncertain. Holy moly. Mentor Shelley, what are your thoughts on this article?
Wait a minute.
I'll leave it up here so we could chat about it. But what are you thinking about this?
There's a whole lot of people that will be applying for available jobs in the job market. And HUD is not going to be able to function optimally with half of its staff gone. From a couple of articles that I perused, a lot of their satellite offices will be closed.
And I have some input about the satellite offices, but yeah, go ahead.
A lot of their satellite offices will be closed. The cases that they have on file, I'm sure it's going to affect the workload. It's going to affect every area of that of HUD. Half of the employee, they're slated to get rid of half of the employees. Now, you've worked more with this agency up close than me. Do you find that there's a lot of waste going on within that organization, or this is going to really devastate the organization?
Well, I will say this, in the 16, almost 17 years that I've been in the industry, there have definitely been some updates and changes throughout my entire tenure. Now, in the bad old days, as my first compliance trainer used to tell me, everything was paperwork, right? There was carbon copies and just very time consuming. And, imagine if you get all of the subsidy requests incorrect because of incorrect reporting or missing a decimal point. That could be detrimental to your entire budget because it's just a lot of chaos when you have to go back and manually change things. Now, when I got into the industry, it was going more into the automation phase, right? We have a lot of things that are automated. Like, we don't need somebody sitting in HUD punching a computer trying to figure out who's cheating. There's a system called EIV, Enterprise Income Verification. Now, that system has in use for, since I got into the industry. So for about at least 17 years, it has become the standard. Now, what's interesting is that though this has become the standard, HUD is now about to be very lax about that. And they're not going to make it the main income verification system. So I'm not going to get too deep into that because people's eyes will glaze over. But as soon as you apply for Section 8 housing, everything's automated. So we essentially take your documentation, your income, assets, all that stuff manually. Sure, we do that. But when you think about what the verification process looks like, I'm mailing a verification to a bank. The bank is then scanning it through a system and then electronically giving me the answers that I need. It's very rare that I see handwriting on any verification that's resubmitted to me directly from the verifier. The other thing is that, again, with the EIV, you can tell me all day that you only make, $15 an hour at your one job. But here's what EIV, the Enterprise Income Verification System, is going to tell me. It's going to tell me that that's not true. You actually have 3 or 4 jobs. Now, there's nobody at HUD that's going to be able to go into the streets and knock on the doors and ask people if you work where you work. Right. So there's a segment of people that work there that just are not necessary anymore. And when you talk about, I didn't mean to say that so bluntly, but, and the only reason I know, and again,
we have why I asked, because you work with that particular industry more.
And we have over 60 people here in this chat right now, or in this show. Thank you guys for showing up. This is a new record for the channel for both of us, I think. And you guys, we only have 2 comments. I know you guys have stuff to say. You've been going ham in my comments all week. So let's talk. You guys chat. The only thing you can't do here is you can't cuss. All right. But yeah, questions, comments, you guys leave them up there in super chat because we know y'all got money. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
But look, we have some questions on the side already.
But yeah, so but just to kind of, bring it home, everything is becoming automated, you guys, because I know when I say I'm an auditor, you guys might think I go into an office every day. Not exactly. I can live where I want. As long as I have Wi-Fi, I can do this work because it's automated. I look at files as sheets going across the screen. Okay, you guys, it's not that difficult, right? And we're actually implementing some AI stuff as well too. So we're all kind of thinking what's this going to look like, right? So I'm saying all that to answer your question. Really, automation is going to be a thing. When you talk about they're removing the disaster relief portion of HUD, well, that's what FEMA's for. So do you really need HUD? Because a lot of people don't know with HUD housing, you can actually skip a wait list if you are a victim of a natural disaster, but it has to be a presidential declared natural disaster. So there's a lot of things that I want to talk about on this channel about HUD, because a lot of people don't know that you can skip the wait list doing that. And I shouldn't say skip, but you'll get preferential treatment. So there could be a lot of neglect with properly implementing that policy. So that could be why that department is getting liquidated. And then what was the other one that they were getting rid of? It was housing market analysis. I'll say this, then we can move on. With housing market analysis, you all will know, if you keep your ear to the pulse of tech, you will know that software companies are doing that. That is what tech is doing. When you pay your rent online, you're paying it through a mobile system, right? Like a software, a CRM, whatever the heck they call it, right, girl? I'm lost for words. But you pay your rent online, right?
Okay.
And think about it. That software that you're paying your rent through, that company does the market analysis for that area for that owner. That's baked into the software services. You see,
Okay.
this is why you guys come here, so you guys can learn these things. So you just think that that system is used to pay your rent. No, that's the customer facing side of it. That's the customer, but the B2B part, the business to business part, the manager sees that. The manager puts numbers in and says, "Hey, what's the analysis this year? How much percentage should we raise this rent? You know, if we're not in a rent controlled area." The
Right.
software does that. So HUD doesn't need people sitting at a desk doing that. These tech companies are developing the software to do it, and they're doing it at rapid speed.
So, based
Go on,
on what
girl.
you just shared, a lot of what's happening, unfortunately, with HUD is that a lot of AI and automation is taking over a lot of the jobs that they're looking to cut. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, which is why I asked the question I asked. I figured you would have more of an insight. I don't want to forget about the folks that have questions on the side there. So, as we were reading the article, so we want to make sure that we address some of those.
Yeah, I'm a little uncomfortable here. Y'all aren't talking. I very rarely see this many people in a chat that don't say anything. Y'all must be in there cussing. YouTube must be blocking y'all. Anyway, y'all participate because y'all was going crazy in my comments. All right, let's see. Will the people who have a voucher experience any change this year? Well, that question is open to interpretation because it depends on if you are accurately reporting your income and assets. This is a you thing. Your voucher is not going to change as long as you qualify for it. Now, what I will tell you, Melissa Ennis, and I haven't seen you here before, so welcome. The thing is, HUD is implementing some new changes. We had a lot of people that had a lot to say about my input, about income and assets. I will be dropping some videos this week about how HUD calculates your income and assets. You as the voucher holder are required to report when your income changes. All right. With what I work with, project-based Section 8, if your household income goes up cumulatively $200 or more per month, that means if I live with Shelly right here and she gets a raise and it's $100 and then I get a raise and it's $100 per month, we have to report that, because if we don't, somebody like me or the property manager is going to discover it. Remember that enterprise income verification system I talked about earlier? EIV catches that, and it does what's called an income discrepancy report. And the income discrepancy says what you put on that voucher and what we transmitted to HUD, it's not matching anymore. EIV is telling us, oh, you said you made $12,000 this year, ma'am. But EIV is saying that in Q4 of 2024, you made $36,000. How does that work? Let's talk about it.
Wow.
And they pull you right back. So this is a voucher holder thing. You have to report your income and assets. So to answer your question, Melissa, it's only going to change if you don't report things on time and you get caught. But if you qualify, there's not much that's going to make it so you don't, unless you are part of the new changes, which is called HOTMA, HOTMA. Be sure to check out the channel later this week, because I'm going to be talking about some of those changes. All right. Because right now, as it stands, you can have, I don't want to say unlimited assets, but there is going to be a limit that's going to be imposed later this year. That is going to take a lot of people off of assistance. That is a fact. A lot of people are going to lose assistance, but it's not because of Donald Trump. It is not because of Scott Turner. It is not because of DOGE. These are things that were in the works for years.
Oh, okay.
All right. And I know that as an industry insider, these changes happen all the time. The tenant is none the wiser because they don't necessarily read the paperwork. Okay. All right. That's what's up. So that's why we're going to be doing this. Oh, man, I didn't think I was going to be going down the Section 8 rabbit hole with my channel, but here we are. DeAndre Israel, hope you're still here. And thank you so much for stopping by. 91 folks here, guys. Be sure to like the stream. All right. And subscribe to Mentor Shelly too. She'll get you that career advice if you are one of the people that gets laid off, you know. All right.
Yeah.
DeAndre Israel says, I really see people lose their jobs, but I've been in the private sector for over 20 years, military before, or you were military before that, but I don't see the outcry when private sector have cuts. What is the difference? Well, I would say, actually, Shell, you answer that one because you're the career coach. You're the career expert here.
Part of it is that the federal workers make a lot more noise online and it's publicized more. Usually in the private sector, it's, I'm just going to use a name here. Oh, Twitter laid off 5,000 people and you don't hear anything else. Oh, this person laid off X number of people and that's it. If that is a general layoff and they did their WARN Act notification, if they have anything to do with any kind of unions and they did it lawfully, you're not going to really hear much about it. Part of why you hear a lot of what's going on with federal workers is a lot of those layoffs did not happen lawfully. I'm going to almost assume, I'm almost going to guarantee that a lot of those, the WARN Act wasn't taken into consideration, which is why I do see a couple of articles now where there's a couple of judges that have approved or pretty much struck down a lot of those terminations, and they have to rehire some of those folks or at least offer them their jobs back. Which we've also been hearing. Because of some of those, they're putting into a lot of the layoffs. How are you going to say you're laying off a person because you're looking to cut back, but then turn around and say they're not performing? It's one or the other. It's not both. So because, the thing that some of the verbiage that's being used can get, once they get them in trouble, because at the level it's taking place at, some of those employment laws are in jeopardy as well, based on Project 2025. So it's kind of a hit or miss in a sense, but there's a couple of judges that's already said you have to rehire some of these people. Well, they were too preemptive in letting go of so many people that the departments that you're letting them go from can't even function. So, and they may not, and public sector operates very different from private. So the public sector folks, it's on the news a lot more. Number one, they're running it more because of all of what's happening. DOGE is front and center on the news cycles right now. So even if it wasn't, it wasn't that situation, because DOGE did it and because there's a specific person tied to it, we're going to hear about it more. It's being shoved in our faces for a reason. Not necessarily good or bad. It's being shoved in our faces for a reason. It's to keep a particular mindset, and it's to throw you off game if you're concentrating on really working through to build something outside of all of this, to keep your focus on the wrong things. Because while there's focus on this and they're talking about this, there's other things going on in the background that we have to really pay attention to. AI being one of them. So,
yeah, AI is touching every industry at this time. Like it's touching ours. And I think a lot of us don't respect what's truly happening, because if you are working from home, AI is being introduced in your absence. Okay. Because like I don't know. I have an interesting viewpoint about that. I feel like the more technologically focused our jobs get, the more automation that happens, the more, instead of clicking 5 buttons, I only have to click 2 now. Well, guys, that's AI working in the background to make your job easier. I'm of the belief that we actually train AI how to replace us. So in HUD and affordable housing, there is fortunately still a human aspect to it, because of the fact that at this time, the software companies don't really have anything that can move decimal points in such a way, or read the fine print on a bank statement that tells you, hey, this person has a required minimum distribution, versus maybe like it doesn't have the capability to know the policy and apply it to the documents that it's seeing. There's no possible way right now with what I deal with anyway. Because I will say, though, part of the industry is moving rapidly. The part that I'm in, thank God, is moving a little bit slower. And I recognize that and I respect it. I really do, you know? So yeah, there is a difference here, DeAndre, with what I see. It's like there is an outcry, but the outcry that you hear is in the people that you know. You're not going to hear an outcry in the media because it's not sensational, right? Like Shelly said, you're going to hear it through the Googles and the Facebooks and things like that. You're not going to hear it with the small town and the grocery stores that are leaving, or the department stores, and that's the only method of employment that those people have. You're not going to hear it because those people are too busy trying to find more work. That's why you're not going to hear it. They pull themselves up by their bootstraps. I hate to say it, but they do. And they just want to go and survive. That's what it is, right? So let's see here. Catherine Foster, thanks for showing up. I haven't seen you here on the channel, so welcome. How will inspection services be affected? So do you mean inspection services within HUD? Because I can tell you, HUD doesn't really send out HUD employed inspectors. They send out contractors. Which is another reason that I have Mentor Shelly on here, because many of you watching, there's 83 of you per my screen here. Thank you so much for showing up tonight. Like the video. If you have any questions, put them in the chat, you guys. We're here for this, right? You have two professionals that are essentially experts in their field. So this is free game right now. But what I was going to say is that for at least the last 15 years, HUD has been sending out contracted inspectors. And as quiet as it's kept, there was a very long period of time where HUD was not auditing anybody physically, meaning the properties, and they also were not auditing your files. So this is what's happening. Now, I have some perspective here, and we're going to get back to this layoff topic. Like I said, HUD is layered. That's why I'm going to go ahead and follow my gut. We're going to keep this conversation going on my channel. But because there's been this gap in boots on the ground in these offices, finding the discrepancies and the deficiencies in the paperwork, HUD has now dished out so many millions of dollars in undue subsidy. These people should not have had subsidies paid. And it's really a matter of poor training. It's a matter of managers being overwhelmed, overworked, underpaid, because remember, they work in a place where this is where people live.
Right.
That this is an office to you, but this is where people live. They're the most comfortable, so they act a fool. Okay, that's stressful for some people. All right, I've known managers that have gotten their cars set on fire, and you're asking them to properly calculate a file. Please, okay? What? So yes, girl, it's been crazy. So anyhow, there's been this gap in auditing. And now that people are getting back into the workforce, think about it. These layoffs have been overdue. And I would actually say that they probably already have been laying people off, because if they haven't been doing auditing, what the heck have those people been doing that were the auditors? Did they move them into another position? Because that's the other part that's not being discussed here. And I want your input on this show. What are the odds that maybe say we had 200 HUD inspectors, which we have more? We would have had more because there's HUD housing in every state, which is the satellite offices that you were talking about. That's where they work. Now, if these auditors didn't have anything to do for this many years, would it not stand to reason that they were probably put in these positions into other positions that were just temporary in nature anyway? You feel me? So that's what I'm saying. So again, this is why y'all come to talk to industry insiders. You all did not know that HUD put a freeze on your file audits. You didn't know that. HUD had to put those people somewhere because they're government employees. It had to put them somewhere. So how do we know that that isn't what's happening? They just say, oh, well, we're going to get rid of them. They haven't been auditing in 7 years anyway. Do you still have the juice? We don't know. Take this payout.
I had no idea all of that was going on behind the scenes, of course, because now, you know, that's why I ask the questions that I ask. I don't want to just jump to conclusions and go, well, they just lined up all these people. Why are they laying off this? But if companies are I'm gonna say this. I don't want to sound like I'm being mean or I'm being I'm not empathetic to the situation, because I truly am.
Yeah.
Which is why I do my best to provide as many resources as I do. But everyone that's listening right now, you guys have to always remember, just like how we're working to improve our personal economy, the company, whether they're federally funded or they're earning based on the amount of clients and people that need their services or products, they're going to do whatever they can to remain in the black. And if that means purchasing some form of AI to cut 5 jobs, and the AI is not going to complain, the AI is not going to sue them, the AI is not going to do these things, I hate to break it to you, the companies are going to make the choice that is best for them. And it's not a personal choice, it's a business decision. So, not that I agree with it, not that I think that's that's the best, but they're going to look at that and go, it's either technology or you. If they're going to get 5 times more from the technology, if they're in their shoes, what are you going to choose?
Facts. Yeah.
So based on what you're talking about, they had a lot of fat to cut off even before all of this has been going on. Even before who got into office.
Yeah.
Name if I can.
I mean, that's cool. Hey, we have over 100 viewers. Yeah.
Right.
Sorry, we gotta take some time to celebrate, y'all. Y'all better hang on. Y'all better not make this thing go under 100. Hold on now. We gonna clap. I'm sorry, Shelly. I get to clap, girl.
All right.
Yeah, I gotta take a picture. I'm sorry, y'all. Girl, I know it's supposed to be a serious conversation, but little credit solution, she's still in there somewhere, girl.
Listen.
Hey, that's a world record tonight. That's a great sign. By the way, guys, be sure to subscribe to Mentor Shelly's channel as well, because we are talking about layoffs tonight. And we're going to get to the rest of y'all's questions, but we're talking about layoffs tonight. And I know a lot of you in the chat have said that you are in Section 8 housing currently. If you are looking to get your career, get a career change, maybe you don't want to stay on Section 8, for a while, or you're thinking about what your next move is going to be. She can help you with that. She can get you the career services, the resume writing, the training, everything that you're going to need to equip yourself, so you are not caught in this firestorm that's happening right now. Because if it touches the government, what do you think is going to do to us regular public people? What do you think is going to happen to your average civilian?
It's going to trickle down.
Yeah, it's totally going to trickle down. And it already is. It's literally wasting on us right now. So that's where I'm at with it now. But to answer your question, Catherine, which I hope I did, it's not going to affect anything, because I honestly don't think HUD has that many inspectors in the first place. Okay. So if anything, again, you would hit up Mentor Shelly, because a person could become an independent inspector and get your contract with HUD and name your price, because believe me, that's one line item they will never cut out of their budget. AI cannot inspect a unit. It cannot inspect a property. It cannot inspect hairline cracks and all this other stuff right now. So why not get your bag right now?
Come on now. That's true.
I'm telling you, because listen, we have to get into a mode where we're doing things that I hate to use the term recession proof, but you have to get into that mindset where it's if you have some transferable skills, why are we not then trying to see how we can move those over and pivot, right? Because layoffs are going to happen.
Yep.
It's the circle of life. It's just you guys, here's how a layoff works. I'm going to bring it into the layman's terms here. When, I don't know, think about how you cut your grocery budget, right? Maybe every week you like buying, I don't know, chocolate fudge sickles. Right? You're buying chocolate fudge sickles. I don't know. I hope this is a great example, and you find out that you want to spend maybe $10 less when you go to the grocery store every week to save money. Well, you start looking at what you have in your shopping cart. Do you like milk? Yeah, you probably need milk. You need eggs, you need the, cheese, whatever else. The creamsicles are probably not the most important thing in that shopping cart. So what do? You lay them off. You take them out of the cart, and we don't shop for them anymore because we're cutting down the budget. It's essentially trimming the fat. It's the exact same thing, right? When something's not working, we remove it so we can optimize what we have, right? Because even sometimes I walk around my place, I have more items than I need. There's a lot of things here that got to go because they're redundant. They don't need to be here. Mm-hmm. Okay. And it's no different with people. And I hate to say it that way, but that's what it is. We don't need you here if you are not enhancing our bottom line. All right. So let's get back in these comments. I'm sorry, y'all. Creative Solutions be talking. All right, Pam, I'm on a Section 8. When will we see housing cut? Again, there really is not going to be a housing cut because remember, these HUD contracts are about 20 to 30 years long. And if they're not doing Section 8, there are still subsidies being given. So I don't want people to believe that that's non-existent. It's not true. There are programs like I'm thinking of one right now, the workforce program. Okay. The workforce program, I had a site that I was monitoring out in, I want to say it was Colorado, and they had a thing called workforce program. So they were making rents affordable. And some of y'all are not going to be happy about this, but they were giving undocumented people housing, cheap housing. Oh. Because in Colorado, Idaho, all these kind of states over on that side of the country, they have a lot of rural areas. Remember, you'll know Colorado is more of a resort town. So temporary work is a thing. So yes, people that are undocumented are going to have jobs over there, and they're going to need to be housed. So the local government creates these workforce programs, these affordable housing programs for people that are not documented. I cannot tell you how many times I was looking at paperwork, like, why is there not a photo ID in here? Why is there not a social security number? Why is there not any documentation telling me how this person got here? I saw that every day. It was the weirdest program I've ever worked with because it was so simple that my complicated brain was annoyed by it. I was looking for nuances, and they kept telling me, Ashley, Victoria, they're wait, how are we checking a background if we don't have a social security number? I literally had people that had documents that said they were refugees. They just came across the border.
Maybe they were.
And they got public housing. So you guys, this happens in real life. And I'm going to say this, and we're going to get back into the comments. The reason y'all come here is because you understand that objectivity is necessary. Could you imagine me being emotional doing what I do and seeing this? I'd go crazy. So that's why I have to sit back and just look at it. It's fine.
There's a lot of people that are going to be emotional about that, or going to have a gut wrench reaction to that, because they're saying that's being given to people, and there's people here that need it and is not getting it. So so
I'm telling you. So yeah, like guys, there's programs like that. And then also, if you're undocumented, you can get into Section 8 housing, but we do what's called prorated assistance. You just won't get the full amount of subsidy. They won't subsidize the person that is not documented, but they will subsidize the people in the household that are documented. So do you see how the person that's undocumented still benefits?
We're going to go to the next comment. I'm leaving that one alone.
That's what I'm saying, y'all. Again, Creative Solutionist is not about the sensationalism of this whole thing. I'm about the truth of what's going on. Yeah. All right. Hudson Sane and Co. Makes sense because the wait list is decades long. Where is the money going? Right. And you probably saw my last video where I talked about the HUD wait list closing. Again, if these wait lists continue to close because the wait lists are decades long, there's essentially is staff that are on the books that don't need to be there. If the wait list isn't open, what do we need you there for? Really think about that, because if the wait list isn't open, you're not anyway, moving on. But yeah, again, it's just, we're seeing a backup. It's like just poop in a pipe. I don't know. I just made that up, guys, but there's billions and trillions missing. All right, well, I don't know about trillions, but definitely billions, because I covered that a few days ago. So yeah, billions. But again, HUD is trying what they can. That's why the enterprise income verification system exists. That's why the work number exists. All of that. But I have I have an opinion about all this. We'll have to do another live stream another day about all this. There's a lot going on. Okay, so Hudson Saint & Co. Thank you for your participation. Also, thank you for coming in and participating and chatting. AI is a sign of the times. They said the same thing when the printing press put scribes out of work. Yeah, it's like there's always going to be something. And Shell, I want to see how you feel about this. But I always believe that the easier a job gets, again, every day we walk in and we type in a computer and we get in our car and we, even, I don't know, leaving a dang review about something, you are teaching the system how to work more efficiently. You know what I'm saying? It's like when companies ask you, how can we make this better? That's AI, you guys. Like that, they're asking you, how can we make this automation faster? That's what they're doing, right? And even think as a business owner, right? Well, let me not say that. That's too controversial. But I was going to say, like, we automate what we do in a lot of ways too. We could have somebody on payroll to answer our emails, couldn't we?
Of course.
But what do some of us have? Yeah, because if you guys go to mycreditcall.com, well, my bot talks to you. Because if you want to talk to me, there's a different channel that you have to use, because I'm not going to sit there and type answers to all of you all the time. I just can't physically do it. Y'all have been blowing my website up. If AI wasn't there, what am I going to do? But that does put somebody out of work. That does make a position in my company not available. Right? So you got to think about it from every angle, y'all. But yeah, it is a sign of the times. You're right, Hudson. Kia du Puno, I'm guessing. Question. Thank you for following the instructions, by the way. I put that right at the beginning. Thank you for that. Why is it vouchers move down to other family members once the primary person dies? Sorry, I know it. No. I know. Simply put, we can deep dive into that another day, but I'll talk about like the PRAC program. It's PRAC. It depends on the type of program. There are some programs where if the head of household, which is the qualifying person, dies, that's like the only exception, one of the only exceptions. If the head of household that qualifies moves out and leaves non-qualifying members in, they do actually have to move out. So the question that you're asking, that is the reason. If the person does pass away, that's one of the only reasons the remaining members get to stay. Because what are they going to do? The head of household is technically usually the breadwinner. Okay. And they're below the poverty line. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah. And that's who's driving all the paperwork anyway.
Yeah. All right. And Catherine's just responding to our answer to her. All right. Perfect. Thank you for your response there. Thank you. I'm 63 and not the most hireable person with health issues. Might be under a bridge for me. Absolutely not, Pam. That's why we have the career coach here. That's why. Because again, like I said, we are here to showcase this story, not to scare you, but to inform you that it's happening at every level. No longer can people say, well, the rich and the elite are doing this, and that, and they're getting everything. And government employees, they don't work. They don't do this. They don't do that. Well, guess what? Those government employees that aren't doing much are now being moved out. A changing of the guard is happening. Okay. So you are not the only person. Don't believe just because a person has a government job that they're living high on the hog. It's simply not true. If anything, they're living above their means because they think that nothing's going to happen. Right?
They should be doing that in this environment. That's not a wise decision.
For sure. And Pam, at 63, I'm almost positive that you have some skills. Almost positive. So no, it's not. You need to contact Mentor Shelley. That's what that is. And matter of fact, let me put her links back in here. All right. Because guys, you come to me for credit, debt, housing consultations, but Mentor Shelley, she's going to get you that money that's going to put you in a place where you can get that housing and get the life that you want. You're not going to be under a bridge, Pam. Come on now. You're not going to be like that. Don't think that. And the fact that you're here, that shows me that you're not going to be under a bridge. I know you're being facetious, but you're not going to be under a bridge. Catherine Foster, that just makes me mad. We get put through the ringer to get and keep Section 8, and they just get in, no hassle. That is just wrong. It is. I will say this and I'll move on. You got to ask your government, your local government, why is it that they want to be sanctuary cities? And I will leave that right where I put it, because that's where it begins. All right.
I'll just say false.
Poop in the pipe. What I meant was like it's a backup. You know what I mean? Like it's just there's a backup. I couldn't think of anything else to say.
Follow the money.
Your head. Okay, is it my audio, guys?
Yeah. No, it was doing it before. It's settled out since then.
Mm-hmm. I think it might be my signal, because it was doing that in my videos too. Mm-hmm. All right, thank you. All right, and then we got our consultations. All right, so Shell, we can go on for a little bit longer here, because I always got something going on after live streams. But yeah, did you want to touch on any of our other articles that we had here?
We've touched on a lot of what's going on, and we definitely will need to talk about this again, only because as we're here talking about it, there's other things happening. So we definitely want to touch on this again.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. Now, I did actually want to look at your article that you sent me about the field offices, because I wanted to touch on that, actually. Right. Give me a sec here. All right, I'm going to see if I can share this with y'all. Let's stop the screen, then we'll share again. Because I have a bone to pick with my field offices, to be honest with you.
Well,
all right, let's see, where is it? Where the heck did it go, girl? Look, I'm about to mistakenly put something out here that ain't none of y'all's business. Hold on. And guys, don't forget to like up the stream. I can't believe we have 100 viewers. Shell, can you believe that?
Wow.
That's awesome. Insane. Okay, I'm like, girl, when we seen 100 on either of our little channels? You know what I'm saying? Girl, we over here. I'm telling you. Hey, but are you thinking about doing a HUD layoff special on your channel? Because I really think people need to hear about it and what your solutions are.
I'm actually looking to do, I'm putting together a workshop, Overcoming Layoff. It's one of the links that you see here. Let me go ahead and put it in the chat as well.
For sure.
For the first 10 people that do sign up for that workshop, I am offering a free career consultation. And don't think for 1 second to take that for granted, because my last client that had actually booked a consultation with me is now up for a raise at work. So do not take those consultations lightly.
Yeah, for sure. And you guys, so much can change. Like I was talking with a young lady yesterday, because you guys know I just added housing onto our repertoire. So actually, let me do that. We're gonna do an ad break, because we can. Okay, this is what you do, and let this be a lesson, guys. Because like what I'm doing and what Mentor Shelley is doing, like we do this because we have transferable skills, right? And I would have never thought talking about Section 8 and educating you all about what is truly going on would have been this successful in the last 2 weeks. To me, this is just a part of my day. It's a regular part of my day. Okay. It's not that fancy to me. It's nothing. I can just talk about it. Right. But I realize that you all need that information. I have made that another leg of my business. There's no reason that you can't take something that you're good at and make it your own business, right?
Right.
Anybody can be a consultant.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody. I know you guys probably have skills that I don't know about. And these HUD people are going to have to figure out what their transferable skills are.
Mm-hmm.
How about that? Right? Okay, you got some other stuff up here. What's this? Talk about what you have right here. What's this first link that we have?
I'm sorry. Oh, okay.
This one here. All right, wait, is the
Pull
second
those
the first
down.
or the
Pull
second
those
one?
down. Pull those down because I have the. Yeah, let me go ahead and give you the proper link for that particular layout.
Here, and I'll stop my ticker. I don't want to confuse people.
Yeah, this is the. Yeah, I just put it up. This particular overcoming layoff will be live and pre-recorded. The first session is going to be live, where I want to make sure that the needs that you guys have are being addressed. Whether it's I need help with finding something next week because I have XYZ bills due and I need money in the door now, versus I have a little bit, or did these wonderful employers provide any kind of career coaching services that that they're paying for? I would definitely say take advantage of that. Did you get a severance agreement in your there's some negotiation that can take place there too. We're going to start from where you are. So I want to make sure that that first session is live, so you can at least obtain some resources initially, be able to at least implement right away to get some money in the door. Because at the end of the day, your responsibilities don't stop because these employers laid you off. So I want to make sure that you at least take care of the basics up front. And then we'll, of course, work further in the next few sessions after that to make sure that your, that your profiles, whether it be your resume or your LinkedIn profile or all of your prospects, are in place. These are all things that we're going to be going over, or is going to be going into more detail, and I'll be working with you guys as a group for all of those who sign up for the workshop. So go ahead and grab your spot. If you, the first 10 people that do it, I will offer individual consultations with those folks.
I must be behind because I'm not seeing your link is not showing up for me in the chat to click on.
No, you did.
On YouTube. No, I mean on YouTube. I'm not seeing it. I see it in StreamYard, but I don't see it on YouTube. So I'm wondering if they're hiding it. Can you guys see that link? I mean, can you give me a 1 or something to let me know you can see the most recent link that Shelly put in? Can you click on it? Because I want to make sure it's working. Can you see it on your end, Show?
Yeah. Well, you know what? Let me.
I know. Hold on, girl. Let me check the chat.
Let me see.
Yeah, it's not coming through. So hold on. I wonder why YouTube's doing that. It's lagging on the chat. So the guys, y'all could be talking and I don't even see it.
Lord. Let me see here. Let me just double check.
Sorry, guys. We're having technical difficulties for the moment. Just 1 second. But yeah, guys, Shell's got like 20 plus years of HR experience. I mean, honestly speaking, I hope some HUD people are watching right now. So they can get that game, you know what I'm saying? All right, Catherine's saying nope. She's saying it didn't go through. That is so bizarre. All right, let me try it a different way. Shell, put it in the private chat real quick.
Okay. Hold on.
Or is the one that you put in there, is that a good link?
Hold on, let me go ahead. Yeah. Oh, let me go ahead and.
Okay, I got it.
The last one.
I got it. Yeah, I got it. All right. So we'll put it, I'm going to put it on the actual YouTube channel. There's no telling how many links y'all missed. Hold on. I wonder why StreamYard isn't putting it in there. All right. Can y'all see that now? Yeah, that was bizarre. Now this one you guys should see it. All right. I just put it in under mine. Overcoming Layoff Workshop.
Let me see if I can see it on your end.
The site was coming up, but not the page. All right, y'all. Try. Somebody help me out. Somebody click on the most recent link I just put in there, and then let me know, because I clicked on it on my YouTube side and I can see it. because this is too major. I don't want you guys to miss this. Because the thing is, what you're witnessing right now is you're witnessing somebody that can actually like give y'all some insight. All right, you're good. All right, guys. So yeah, share that link with somebody that you know. Because here's the thing. Right now, like, because I know Shelly outside of here, right? And it's one of those things where I can tell you that you need to book now, because in a few months, I would even venture to say, the rate might go up. I ain't trying to tell on my girl, but the rate might go up, because the thing is, when you have access to these kinds of people, this kind of skill set, I'm just talking and telling you what I know because I love it. You know what I'm saying? But somebody might snatch up Shell and take them into her company to build their entire HR department or something. Y'all, I mean, the rates be going up. So when you have this kind of time or this kind of opportunity to sit with somebody and go into a workshop and literally talk to them and get insight directly, it's not a webinar that you're just going to be watching. It's you're going to be able to interact. You know what I'm saying? It's not every day you get direct access like that to somebody with that much like experience. You know what I'm saying? Because girl, as soon as everybody found out I had 17 years of HUD experience, now everybody's knocking at my door. I should have said it sooner, right? For real. All right, she said now they can't hear me and the screen's frozen. So what does it look like on your end? Because maybe that's the internet telling me it's time to go.
Oh, buddy.
Y'all are the best.
I'm
like, don't be playing with me, y'all. It could be my internet. I don't know. Then it could be time for me to go, because I'm probably not gonna be on here past 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. But yeah, hopefully you guys can still see us. But okay, so do we have any more? Let me see if we have any more questions. Actually, sorry, we got a little sidetracked.
Oh, Miss Hudson has a notary license.
Oh, word.
Good, very good, very good.
All right, hold
great
on.
potential there.
Now, where did you see that? Yeah, see, something's happening on my end. I can't see stuff.
Oh.
Yeah, StreamYard has been tripping lately, and they've been charging me more, so I don't know why it's tripping now.
Oh boy.
All right, well, let me start here and then I'll keep going. All right, so my mother is a retired DSS supervisor and says when all else fails, go to the local news. I would say go to your local news, but also, you know, I don't know, just get some information from folks that know what's up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Industry insiders.
Yeah.
I'm sitting on, okay, there it is. I'm sitting on a notary license. How can I best utilize it now that I moved to PT as part-time, or what? What is PT?
I'm thinking part-time.
Okay.
Start registering for with a lot of the start going to start going to a lot of real estate investor type of events. A lot of them happen in your city or in your county on a monthly basis, because you want to be able to be their mobile notary, to be able to sign off on property. A lot of the closings, whether it be refinance closings or regular closings, you're operating as a that's a lot of general, you can also get general notary work as well in the marketplace, going to hospitals, going to jails. I actually need to renew my certification. Mine expired, so I have to work on getting mine up and running so I can start going back out there and doing my little mobile notary on the side. I'm not telling you something that I haven't done. I actually was very active with mine in the past couple of years. Some of those general notary work jobs you can charge based on the fact that you're providing the service on a mobile basis, as low as 50 or as high as 200, depending on the type of services you are offering. For a lot of those closings, whether it be for refinance or for homes that you can go through with real estate closings, you can charge, if you're not in an attorney state, you can charge upwards of 150 plus, depending on situation if you can do them in bulk. If they say they have 3 closings that day and they pay your flat fee, and then you may charge, you may have an arrangement with that particular closing office. So the possibilities with a notary license is endless if you're willing to work it. Andre Hatchett is one of the leading, or one of the leading experts in that area. His course is what I took, and I caught his course on a sale, and what I paid for that course, I actually made up maybe about a month later in my first closing. So it paid for itself. Yeah.
So so everybody, since you're here, because really we were here to talk about HUD layoffs, and then we were here to talk about it. I am actually going to do notary as well, because Virginia allows virtual notary.
Yeah.
And I will be doing that because y'all know I don't have no qualms about getting on a camera. Okay?
Yeah.
Girl.
Right. Yeah. I'm mad the state I'm in don't allow RONs yet, which is what they call remote online notaries.
Okay.
You can do RONs, you can rack up, because some of those RONs you can charge 25, 35, 45 a piece, depending on who you're doing the RONs for. That can get lucrative very quickly, and you're literally on there for 5 minutes. How do I know? I've had to interact with somebody I did a RON with, and I'm on there 5 minutes. 5 minutes, $45. Do some multiplication. If you get like 5, 6, 7 of those in a day, you do that for 4 or 5 days. Listen, you do the math. You can work it how you want.
Girl, listen, I've been doing the maths, as they say, and that's why when I get into conversations like this, it's like you have to let your layoff turn into a layup. Ooh, I think that was a bar.
Oh, yes, I like that one. I like that one.
Because really, when you think about it too, with these HUD people, at the end of the day, they are going to have to come up with something different, right? And I'll tell a story. My family member took a payout because they were going to lay these people off. It was in telecommunications. They were going to get laid off anyway. So they were offering people to relocate, get laid off eventually, or take a buyout. Buyout will pay you unemployment for a year or 2 years, something like that. We'll still pay your health insurance. It was a great thing. If you have a skill and you know what you want to do, and you know there's something that you want to try, and you're young enough, take the gosh darn payout. Sit for a few months and figure out what you want to do. Take a trip if you want to. Now, don't go balling out of control, but these layoffs, when they happen this way, you have to do it strategically. Now, Shelly, question for you. With what you do, let's just say somebody was watching from HUD right now. They were thinking about taking that payout and wondering how they could pivot into something else with it. Is that a service that you offer?
Yeah, that's going to be part of the overcoming layoff, because we have to find out what is it that you're going to be getting. Is that a part of your severance package? Do you get a severance, or they just left you high and dry? What's included in that? Can we negotiate what's in it? Can we negotiate for some more money? Can we negotiate for some more benefits? Can we negotiate for some additional weeks of pay, or additional months of benefits coverage? Because that can get expensive outside of an employer. Real quick. People are finding that out, that are no longer have affordable care, or they're about to lose their affordable care. So that's gonna be part of my live workshop. What can you get your hands on right now? Because a lot of people are in dire straits, or it's going to be in a dire economic situation. What can I get out of it right now that can help me either keep the roof over my head, keep food on my table, get the basics done?
Yeah.
And then, if they're going to make it a more comfortable, then I have a little bit more, wiggle room to say, do I want to start a business? Do I want to freelance with the skills that I have? Do I have the skills, or do I need to obtain some more skills on a budget? Do I need to obtain skills where I take a Udemy class, or I can go to the local trade school for a few weeks to obtain a skill, or a few months?
Right.
What is it that I can do? But you have to be able to know. You have to know where you are in order to know where you're going. And everybody's layoff is going to be different based on what it is, or where they are, what they're coming out of it with. Did they catch, if they get a decent deal, we'll work through it. That's one of the reasons I said whoever grabs that class, the first 10 people grab that class, we'll get a career consultation. And that's part of what we will discuss. What are they saying? Let me see this severance agreement. We need to see if you can get some more out of this. See if you can, before you sign it.
Exactly.
Okay?
And then you can come to me. I'm like, come to me and I'll tell you what to spend the money on.
There you go. Can you get some more? Listen, they're letting you go. Try to squeeze as much juice out of the lemon that you can. Okay.
Yeah.
These are things that we will definitely discuss in the workshop. So.
And if you are currently employed, Shelly can also help you learn how to utilize the resources and the benefits that your job currently has. A lot of people don't even know they can get tuition reimbursement. They don't know about the free therapy, the EAP, like they don't know about the nutritional programs. They don't know about this stuff. And it's like, dude, this is your right as a freaking employee, dude. Like Shelly can literally tell you about so much stuff that you don't even know is beneficial before you even get laid off or before you quit your job. Because sometimes you need to milk the benefits before you quit that you don't even know about these benefits, You
paying for the benefits. Why not use it?
Heck yeah. I'm telling you, these places, they have to do some of this stuff. So, all right, let's keep going here. Someone asked about the cost of your course. Now, I do think, Pam, we did put it in the description. So just go ahead and click it and then you'll see the pricing there, right, Shel?
Yes.
All right, because y'all probably don't know this, but in the online space, we don't talk about prices on live streams. You got to go click the link, all right? But it's worth every penny, I guarantee you. And her price today is not going to be her price next year. And I say that because my job is to show you or tell you, teach you where the money is, because you have it. Whatever she charges, you have it. Trust me. All right, you do. Now, let's see. Will the prices of HUD houses increase in a year because of layoffs? No, those are two totally different things. No. And that's the thing. Like I said, HUD has their hands in too much of your community for HUD to dissolve. HUD is not going to dissolve. HUD is rebuilding. Okay. HUD is trimming the fat, as they say. It's like, it's just getting rid of redundancies. That's all it is, you guys. Like it's not gonna be that terrible. The people that are on affordable housing or in affordable housing, y'all are not gonna feel this. It's gonna be the people trying to get in, and it's gonna be the employees that are trying to get in. That's who's gonna feel it, and the redundant people. So it's all good. Sorry, I am driving. Okay, listen. Do not be driving and typing on your phone. Credit Solutionist said it first. Ben Keaton, don't be doing that. Because it might be dark wherever you are, especially if you're on the East Coast. Don't be doing that now. Okay? Be safe. All right, thank you. Got it. Okay, so that was the end of our comments. All right, so we're going to touch on this last part, and then I'm out because I got stuff to do, y'all. All right, let me let's X this out because I love that you sent me this article. We're going to be talking about the affordable housing, the HUD closures. I don't want to say I don't care about these people, but I do. I care. Okay, I care.
Come on.
I swear, I care. All right, guys.
Don't let me have to verbally flog you.
Girl. Okay, so look. So now Shelly was talking about satellite offices before and the layoffs in the satellite offices. So now this is an article that she sent me from housingfinance.com. Now, many of you are wondering about where these HUD field offices are. Well, there's a few scattered across the country. Now, the purpose of these offices is essentially to, do the I want to say they pretty much make sure that everybody's following protocol, because essentially Washington cannot deal with this all by themselves. Washington is one place, and Section 8 is across the country, right? It's millions of people that are getting housed. So we have to literally have satellite offices where we have the auditors, we have the inspectors, we have the people that process the voucher requests and things like that. Again, I only know this because I did work in the voucher request department type stuff as well during my tenure. So it says here that a union leader cites concerns that 31 offices may be eliminated, while a HUD official says no decisions have been made. So this already tells me that there's some rumors going on and somebody's in there just flapping their gums, okay? Because why would the union leader say this? Like, where did you get that information from? Hardly anybody. Okay, let me just come on here. Anytime your union leader says something,
it's already in discussion.
I was going to say, I would take it with a grain of salt, because don't nobody like the union leader. Well, the management doesn't like the union leader, but I digress.
Well, it's being
you're right. They could
discussed
be
if
onto
they're
something.
mentioning it though.
Yeah.
It's being discussed.
No, I get you. So, all right, it says here a significant number of Department of Housing and Urban Development regional and field offices are expected to be eliminated. I will say, as an insider, I understand why. Right. It's a delicate topic, but I understand why. It says the Seattle regional office, which covers Idaho, Oregon, and Washington, is being eyed for closure, according to Antonio Gaines. That man says a whole lot of stuff. He's the president of the American Federation of Government Employees National Council 222, which represents about 5,300 HUD employees. The San Francisco office may also be at risk of closure, but there have been some reports that it could be relocated to San Diego, Gaines tells Affordable Housing Finance, noting that such a move would keep a regional office in the state. Okay, y'all. Okay, they was typing this fast. Maybe it was AI, but in a more conservative locale. As you guys know, San Diego actually is pretty conservative, even though it is in California. In addition, Gaines says he has heard that about 31 field offices are on the chopping block, leaving some states without a HUD presence. I think I know why, and we'll talk about it in a second before we leave tonight. That's significant because local offices work with affordable housing developers and owners on loans and numerous other matters. Another affordable housing industry executive also confirmed hearing the same reports. All right, so that's kind of what they're talking about here. Now, Gaines says that he believes closing field offices would violate a statutory agreement to have an office in every state. That is honestly not feasible, and it is a waste of money. All right. Continue. I'm moving on. If HUD decides not to have a field office in a state, it must perform a cost-benefit analysis and examine how constituents will be impacted. But that has not happened, according to Gaines. Currently, right now, guys, there isn't really a HUD office in every state. That's why these satellite offices are at risk. It goes to show they're actually not necessary. That's the whole point. There is a series of requirements that the agency is supposed to adhere to that they are not following. A HUD spokesperson said recent reports on office closures are not accurate. No decisions have been finalized. The department is exploring consolidation while continuing to prioritize service. Now, remember, guys, who's going into these offices, because we do most of everything online. Now, the union and housing advocates continue to brace for widespread layoffs at the agency as the administration and billionaire Elon Musk's, basically DOGE, look to cut federal spending. Gaines says he was recently informed that about 146 people were being terminated in HUD's field or Office of Field Policy and Management, the division considered the first contact for services and information. This is believed to be just the beginning, with the Trump administration targeting about a 50% reduction in HUD's workforce. He says this is Gaines. He says his recent report shows that 606 employees have taken the administration's fork in the road option, a deferred resignation offer. A good number of these workers were in HUD's office as well as the Public and Indian Housing Office. In addition, probationary employees were dismissed earlier. There you go, guys, getting rid. Remember, last hired, first dismissed. You know what? First, last hired, first fired. Is that what they say, Show?
Yeah, last and first out. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So in addition, so it says probationary employees were dismissed, but HUD has not shared the number of these laid off workers according to Gaines. So I will tell you that reducing the field offices has been a long time coming, because we used to have a field office in every state. But what's the purpose of that when we have what's called a contract administrator? The contract administrator is actually like a third party that then communicates with HUD. It's a little bit cheaper. You don't have to have as many employees. There's not too much that has to go into it. They essentially, like, say, I used to transmit voucher requests, right?
Mm-hmm.
So very arduous process, really, because it's very meticulous. But you get it to the contract administrator, and then they check it for errors and then send it to HUD.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So if they exist and it's cheaper, why do I need the HUD office? Because ultimately I'm sending it to HUD in DC. So
Right.
I don't need your field office.
Right.
Right. I really just need a centralized contract administrator to make sure these companies are following HUD protocol, make sure that the voucher request is accurate, and then send it off on its way. Sending it to HUD is going to bog way too many people down. And there's a very limited amount of time that you can, oh, hold on. We got to let go of a defector here. 1 second.
Mm-hmm. I saw it.
Yeah. I'm learning, girl. I don't entertain them no more. So it's like you have this where a third party is actually a better option than going directly to the source. The source doesn't need our paperwork until it's been, checked with a fine-tooth comb. So with that, I understand. Again, I don't know what a bunch of employees in a field office are really doing. Are they talking to the public? What are y'all doing? I never saw field representatives unless it was an auditor. And the auditor was from the contract administrator's office. So I really didn't need HUD directly, when I was in my position. So it's like, what are you here for? So what they did years ago was they started condensing everything. Right. And we saw it probably 10, 12 years ago. They went from having one in every state to having one in like the Pacific Southwest, and then the Northeast. And yeah, so we were like, ooh, that's weird, because we had to change all the paperwork countrywide. Right. And it even is a finding. We call it a finding, but it's a markup on your audit if you don't have the right field office on your documentation. It's crazy, y'all. But yeah. So we saw that happen. And again, like I said, I'm saying this because there's a lot of redundancies in HUD housing and paperwork. And
so it sounds like whether this was going on or not with all the other federal agencies, they're going to be, like trimming the fat anyway.
Facts.
So I think you have yes.
I got to apply. Hold on, girl.
All right. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Now I had a goal of 10 super chats, but because my heart is in this topic tonight, I didn't focus on the money. I want you all to focus on the money, your money. All right. We're working. Me and Shelly are on the clock here. We're on the clock. We're always working, y'all. And that's the whole thing, because if a layoff comes our way in another area of our life, we're going to be all right. We're going to be all right. And that's where we want y'all to be as well. But thank you, OCL Sportsman. You have been at this channel before. I have seen you, OCL Sportsman. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for the information provided tonight. Yes, yes, yes. And OCL Sportsman, we are celebrating because we had over 100 viewers. We have Diamond Dave numbers up in here, baby. Hey, that's what's up. But yeah, that's great. Thank you so much for contributing tonight, and putting some money in the kitty. You know what I'm saying? Thank you. Soul Search. Okay, this is a good live. I'll have to come back and finish. Yeah, come back for sure. I've been planning on becoming a notary. Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah, and you may have to do a live stream about notary because I will definitely tune in because I think I want to be one. I would totally do virtual. Oh my God. And then they call you, you say, yes, I'll do it. Get on camera, hit your lick and go on about your business. Why not? So again, we say that because automation is not a bad thing, you guys. And what if you get laid off and it really does turn into be like you go to something that's even more lucrative? Like what the heck?
Listen, you don't get a layoff, you get laid up.
That's what I'm saying, man. Layoff to layup because you never know. I'm telling you, and right now, let me read this and then I'll say what I got to say. But I did not get the notification. Yeah, YouTube it be hating sometimes. It be hating, but it's cool. And as a channel member, thank you, Carla J. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Yes.
Yeah, you guys definitely join the channel membership too, because I'll start putting some content in there as well because I like the direction the channel's going. It's great. I get to share another part of my life with you guys. And then also, like I said, create avenues for my friends to get on here and share what they truly do with a wide audience. Because I know you guys need this information. You need these resources. You need it, right? You come to me for the debt, the housing, all that good stuff, but you got to have something to pay for that stuff with. And that's where Shell comes in. So I can't say it enough. You know what I mean? So what I was going to say also, what are your thoughts about this as we kind of close this out tonight? When there are redundancies, what is the other option? Is there any other option than layoff?
From a company standpoint, based on what's happening, HUD looked like they had made plans to do a lot of the cuts that's happening right now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's understandable. A lot of companies do that. It's not only HUD. I went through the list of agencies in a couple of videos a couple weeks ago of the public sector jobs that have been cut. Some of those are illegally done. Some of them are justifiable based on what you're telling me about because you're an insider in the industry and in HUD. That some of that fat needed to be cut anyway. Of course, I wouldn't have known that because you work directly adjacent within the organization and in that industry. So that gives me a different perspective, understanding how employers are looking at it. They're going to look out for their bottom line, as I said at the beginning. They're going to look at their bottom line. AI is going to affect a lot of decisions that are being made. So it's understandable what is going on as far as some of the jobs that are being cut. Some of them are unnecessary cuts. Some of them they were planning on doing it whether one or the other party landed in office, regardless, because layoffs was starting to happen 7-8 months ago, even before that person got into office in several industries. So if you find yourself in that predicament, if you are one of those people that got laid off of whether you're in public sector or private sector, very, very soon, we're going to go ahead and have the first of a series of workshops in what I call overcoming layoff. You can go to mentorshelley.com/layoff to sign up for that workshop. And for the first 10 people that sign up, we want to make sure that you can get a free career coaching consultation. Here's why that's important. My last, the last career consultation that I offered, the young lady is not only, it's not if she's getting a raise, it's how much of a raise she's getting. Just based on the conversation we have, the strategies we put in place, and the fact that she implemented them oh so well. Okay, so you see that first button, join the Overcoming Layoff workshop today. The first 10 people will be getting a free career coaching consultation with me so we can put your specific plan together, but we'll be working in the workshop together to make sure we at least get your basics down and we can get you moving in the right direction from the start. All right. Questions for me specifically. I know a lot of these questions that you guys had were in regards to housing. We'll definitely be having more conversations about this together and separate, because I'm going to be digging into HUD a little bit more myself to make sure that we are, we're responding to some of the needs that are out there. It's not only HUD that's laying off; it's the Office of Personnel Affairs. It's a lot of the federal 71,000 plus folks. We want to be of service to them. Hello, Samari. She's saying hello to both.
I had her up there. Hey, girl.
Yeah, it's a regular on both of our channels. So I want to make sure that we're here to help you to become a better professional, especially during this transition time. And of course, you guys can always, if you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, it's youtube.com/mentor Shelly CC. If you also have relationships with other employers that are looking for help in the HR sector of things, they can go to mentorshelly.com/HR cons to talk to me about HR services. But Victoria, I'm going to hand it over to you so you can close out with us this evening.
For sure, for sure. Thank you guys so much again. I was debating for a really long time if I was going to share this part of my life with my audience. And I realized that, it would be I would be doing a disservice to you all by not sharing with you some of the knowledge that I have. Because this particular career path that I've had has been pretty rewarding, because I've met a lot of different people from, obviously, young men and women that need the housing, that are in college. There's some really good people in affordable housing, all the way down to, I'm going to get controversial. I have been a property manager for Holocaust survivors. People don't know that. I've met a lot of people, Korean war vets, American war vets. I've met so many different people. And I will tell y'all this, I have met people that were millionaires in their former lives, and they ended up in Section 8 housing. You're talking people that had property, assets, married with kids, all kinds of stuff, yet somehow they end up in affordable housing. I even had a little actor in one of my properties. He was a little nutty, but he was cool. But yeah, I mean, there's so many different people, and it taught me very early on in my life, that your life can take a turn anytime.
Yep.
Anytime. You never know. So like Shell was saying at the beginning, be compassionate. Maybe you don't care about Section 8 housing. Well, that's cool. Then don't have an opinion about it. Don't say anything. Move on with your life. It's okay. But for those of us that, I kind of got into the industry on accident, but I happened to like what I did once I really saw what it was about. And I love the auditing aspect because I get to really see the inside scoop, right? Which is why I wanted to bring it to you guys. And, I thank you all for having a sincere interest in what I'm saying to you. I will always keep you informed as much as I can. So be on the lookout this week. I will be covering income and assets in HUD. I'll also be covering maybe some ways that, you can actually have Section 8 and make $100,000 a year. It's possible. It's possible. It's possible. It's possible.
Oh boy.
Well, that's more consultation stuff. So speaking of which, I'm going to let you guys know how to get in contact with me. And then I got to get on out of here because I actually have to prepare for a consultation tomorrow. Actually tomorrow night, which is kind of weird because I have to get home. I'm trying to socialize, but I'm also gotta make this money. All right. So as you guys know, originally I am the credit solutionist. I still help you all with debt elimination and credit repair. We do all that stuff. Go on over to the Calendly page. I will leave a link here in the chat. But if you need to talk with me directly, if you have some questions about your Section 8 housing, if you are looking for a debt elimination strategy, I will help you out with that. During your call, we definitely, we do a recording. So you will be able to refer back to everything that we talk about. So we never leave you hanging. All right. And we also give you a debt elimination tracker. So all kinds of stuff, guys. We have the resources here for you. Right. So don't ever say We didn't give you anything because the information is here. It's all up to you if you want to invest in yourself, okay? And become, as Mentor Shelley says, a better version of yourself. The information, the help, the guidance, the people, we're here, right?
Yeah.
Don't just use this as entertainment. This is like us extending our knowledge, our heart, our brain that we have worked for these last few years. We're doing it, we used to do it for someone else to make them millions of dollars, and now we want to do it for y'all to actually help you out. So, seriously, start investing in yourself. And for those of you on Section 8, don't worry about it, man. You'll be okay. You will be okay. It's not going anywhere. But the point or the question is, are you going anywhere? That's the question, right?
Mm-hmm.
These things were meant to be temporary. So I'm going to put it in the chat. If you need to talk with me directly, feel free to do so. All right. I appreciate you guys more than you know for coming through tonight. This was a record-breaking night for me. I also think it was for Mentor Shelley too. So that's it. That's all I got. Anything else to say, Shell, before we close out?
Listen, guys, we're here to help you to become a better professional, as well as help you guys to get your credit and your housing and your overall financial situation to improve. But in order for you to have that, you need to have some money coming in, which is where I come in. We work together to help you to become a better professional and make sure that your personal economy is getting as much enrichment as possible, whether it be on the credit side or on the job side. All right, guys, take care, and y'all have a good one. We'll be back soon to talk to you guys more about this HUD situation and what's going on with the whole layoffs and all the things.
It's been crazy, you guys, but thank you so much for another fantastic live stream. It's been a record breaker, and I, for one, am so happy and so proud that this has happened. Didn't see it coming, and I'm so appreciative. Listen, guys, I'm going to keep you informed as much as I can on this Section 8 debate, because when you go out and you talk about these things, I want you to be informed. I'm not going to have you out there being that weirdo in the room that's just yapping. All right. I want you to be informed, seriously, so you can make better choices and pivot to the thing that is right for you. I'm doing it in my life. Shelly's doing it in hers every single day. And we want to share those things with you and hopefully encourage you to do the same. So I am Victoria Langford, your credit solutionist, signing out on this beautiful Wednesday night. Share this live stream with a friend and come on through later on this week, because I'll be sharing another little bit of HUD information, or maybe even a headline. We'll talk about some stuff, guys. All right, Victoria and Mentor Shelley, peace out, y'all. We'll see you on the next one. Have a good night.
Good night.